So good evening, dear friends. And we'll begin this evening by invoking the blessings of our Heavenly Father. We'll just all of us pray together. No, it's okay, I think you can sit if you wish, but we'll just pray together the Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. Forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. So warm welcome to all of you to this evening, this annual Juniorate evening of drama. You'll remember many of you were here last year as well. Last year, if you remember, the main program was a couple of songs sung by the senior fathers, no? And then to fill time, we put in two one-act plays on either side of it. This time, we have, apologies to the actors of last year. This year, we have one long play, so it's just one play, which will run through with an interval. And Father Leroy will speak a little bit about the play itself. But we are just to express my gratitude on behalf of Vinyalia, on behalf of the Juniorate, to all of you who are associated with us in so many different ways, and particularly in the formation of our juniors. Many of you in terms of your place of ministry, yes, you'll interact over there, you'll provide guidance to our brothers, many others from among you help out in different ways at Vinyalia. Your presence here, therefore, is just one concrete sign of that ongoing collaboration which you have always offered to us. And for that, I'm deeply grateful to each one of you on behalf of the Vinyalia community and the Juniorate. In a very special way, of course, thanks to the authorities here of Holy Family. Mrs. Susan Babu, is she around? I'm sorry, ma'am, if I have not seen you, but okay. So the principal, Mrs. Susan Babu, we're grateful to her. We're grateful to you, Father Morris, the superior of Holy Family community. Well, to Father Vincent Vaz, he's not here right now, but I believe he's hot-footing it at the very moment, coming here to that. He'll be here maybe just at the end to see the last scene before the curtain call, perhaps. But he's the manager of the school. So we're grateful to all the authorities of Holy Family here. Father Leroy, as I said, will speak about the play, but just to urge you to put yourself into the dialogues, to grasp the dialogues, and see the messages that come through. And finally, there will be the final message which I'm sure will touch you and you will take home with a transformed heart. You'll see that when we reach the end of the play. But right through the dialogues are an invitation to us to examine our motives, what we think about others, and so on. Over to Father Leroy for a more detailed synopsis of the play.
Good evening, everyone, once again. And I must say, we're very happy to have all of you present here for this, what we can call a Juniorate annual day. Now, the play, we're going to put up a two-act play for you. It's called The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. This is a play by an American playwright, Stephen Adly Guirgis by name, a contemporary playwright. He's directed and written a number of award-winning plays in the last 15-20 years, the most famous of which was one particular play in 2015, for which he won the famous Pulitzer Prize for drama. So it's a well-known play. Now this play, The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, is a work of fiction, okay? And it is based largely on the imagination of the playwright. The setting is a courtroom scene called Hope in Purgatory. Now, never mind what your views on purgatory are. Remember, this is imagination. It is all the imagination of the playwright. And now here in purgatory, various individuals are given a chance to redeem themselves and to get kicked up from purgatory into heaven. And among the different cases that come up for hearing, the case of Judas Iscariot comes up for hearing. And various witnesses are called in to testify either for or against Judas or both ways. So the play goes on to explore the possible world, the possible background to Judas, which we probably never knew of. Scriptures tell us very little we know. Now, why did we choose a play of this kind? The play, this is the most important part. The play helps us, or rather urges us, to reconsider what we think we know about key human attitudes. Attitudes like forgiveness, judgment, God's mercy, justice, love, forgiveness, all of this. It in a way challenges us and disturbs our thinking and all that has been preset in our minds about these attitudes. The play urges us to look with renewed understanding at people who have been condemned by the world, in this case, Judas Iscariot. And most importantly, I think, it provokes us all to be persons of empathy, people who can look at the world through the lens of God. That's the central thrust of this play. And who are you going to see on stage today? We've got our 21 juniors, Jesuits, who are in training here in Vinayalaya from 9 different, what we call provinces in South Asia. So provinces would mean 9 different states in a way. So they're from all over the country. And we've got a number of youth from our parish, boys and girls, who will be acting along with them. The juniorate, most of you already know, is that stage in Jesuit formation wherein we deal with the humanities, language, culture, arts, music, drama. And so drama is a core component in juniorate formation. And that's why this play. And so, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here to encourage all our guys. And at the same time, we hope you all have an enjoyable evening. Just one request. I request all of you to put your mobile phones on either flight mode or switch it off because it may interfere with the sound system. All right? So we're all set to begin Act 1 of The Last Days of Judas Iscariot.
No mother should have to bury a child. No parent should have to bury a son. Mothers are not meant to bury sons. It is not in the natural order of things. I buried my son in a potter's field, in a field of blood, in empty, acrid silence. There was no funeral, there were no mourners. His friends, all absent. His father dead, his sisters refusing to attend. I discovered his body alone. I dug his grave alone. I placed him in a hole and covered him with dirt and rock alone. I begrudge God none of this. I do not curse him for anything. And though my heart keeps beating only to keep breaking, I do not question why. I remember the morning my son was born, as as if yesterday I was infused with a love beyond all measure and understanding. I loved my son every day of his life, and I will love him ferociously long after I've stopped breathing. I'm a simple woman. I'm not bright or learned. I do not read. My opinion is not important. The world tells me that God is in heaven and my son is in hell. But I tell the world the one true thing I know. If my son is in hell, then there is probably no heaven. Because if my son sits in hell, then there is probably no God.
Between heaven and hell, there is another place. This place, hope. Hope is located right over here in purgatory. Now, purgatory, quite contrary to popular belief, has got movie theaters, parks, and casinos. But this place, hope, well, it ain't got none of that. And it definitely doesn't smell too good.
Next case, bailiff.
I worked here in Hope for 2.5 years. That's how I got these wings. I just love them. You know, this place, Hope, though it changes with the times, it has always stood as God's gift to the last of His children. In biblical times, Hope was an oasis in the desert, a place of serenity. But today, Hope is no longer a place for contemplation, litigation being the preferred new order of the day. Legal proceedings are the norm.
Where is my damn bailiff?
Here, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. God and the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Marilyn Monroe. Motion to appeal.
Denied. Next case.
God and the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Jim Morrison.
Oh, hell. No. Denied.
God and the Kingdom of Heaven and Earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Judas Iscariot? Who brings this crap before me?
Your Honor, my name is Fabian Cunningham.
Never heard of you.
I live in purgatory.
Motion denied. Next case.
Your Honor, I have a writ signed by St. Peter at the gates of heaven.
Next case.
But, Your Honor, I have a writ.
He has a writ, sir.
I did not ask you.
But he has a writ, sir.
What's your name, bailiff? And where are you from?
I'm Francis from Outer Mongolia.
And you are on work release from purgatory, right?
Yes, sir.
If you want to get to heaven someday and eat fried chicken and mashed potatoes, then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. But the written petition, sir.
Bailiff.
Your Honor, if I may.
Who speaks before me?
It is I. Yusuf Akbar, Al Nasar, Gamel El Fayoumi.
Who the hell are you?
An attorney, great sir, willing and able to prosecute this sham of a case and defend the gates of heaven and the kingdom of God against this big shenanigan of a so-called writ. I have been preparing night and day to refute the allegations it contains.
Oh. Do you have a license to practice, Mr. Al-Fajita?
A license? A license? Yes, absolutely, of course. Sir, his name is El Fayoumi.
What?
You call him El Fajita.
Just give me my glasses.
You're wearing them, sir.
Oh, my other glasses?
My lord, very tiny problem. My license. I seem to have left it in my other suit. I could rush back to hell and retrieve it.
Ah, so you're from hell.
My lord, I am temporarily detained. There was a problem with my papers.
You sure about that?
Quite sure, Your Grace.
Your Honor, may I remind you about the writ, the petition?
Yes. Let me see this writ.
Here, Your Honor.
Cunningham, this writ is garbage. Next case.
But, Your Honor, my client...
Your client is Judas Iscariot. Your client sold out the Son of God. For Christ's sake!
But that has no bearing.
Cunningham, Judas Iscariot committed the one unforgivable sin. Everybody knows it.
The sin of despair.
And then he did the world a favor and hung himself.
From the olive branch, the coward.
Next case.
But, Your Honor, the writ that you hold in your hand is signed by Saint Peter.
I know Peter well. And he is prone to error. Believe me, and he's rash.
But, Your Honor...
Next case.
Your Honor, I cite Hegel. Within every idea, a thesis is contained its contradiction, an antithesis. And out of that struggle is created synthesis. Synthesis, Your Honor, the union of opposites, their interdependence and their inevitable clash, producing what's next, what must be revealed. God's perfect love versus God's rightful justice equals to what, Your Honor?
Get out of my courtroom!
Your Honor, the union of love and justice can only produce mercy and forgiveness. If a just God sits in heaven, it can fall no other way.
Tell me, Mr. Cunningham, have you ever met God?
I don't know whether I believe in God.
You have just handed me a writ signed by God, and yet you don't know if you believe in Him?
Correct.
Well, what if God were to make Himself present before you? Just imagine. Jesus makes Himself present at your doorstep and enters your home and spends up to 3 minutes with you, bringing untold joy and hope in your life. Would you then believe in Him?
I suppose I'll have to believe.
After only 3 minutes?
But that would never happen.
Cunningham, you just told me that you would be flooded with joy and hope.
So,
consider this. Your friend Judas, he had Jesus for 3 years. 3 full years. And And despite that, he shot him in the back for a bag of silver. Just think what that says about the character of this man. He doesn't deserve forgiveness.
Your Honor, the only person who needs forgiveness is the one who doesn't deserve it.
Then let him ask.
He cannot. Therefore, I am asking for him.
All right, all right. Let the proceedings begin.
Hey y'all, welcome to my world. My name is Monica, better known to you mortals as Saint Monica. And I've got saintly contacts, okay? So don't mess with me. Up in heaven, a lot of people don't want to hang out with me because they think I'm a nag. And it's true, I nag. And if I wasn't a nag, I wouldn't have ever been a saint. And the church wouldn't have had a father of the church named Saint Augustine. Gus was my son. And when he kept screwing up all the time and living loosely, I nagged God to save him. I nagged and nagged and nagged God till he got so tired of me that he saved my son. To make a long story short, I was called to look into the case of Judas Iscariot by this guy in purgatory called Cunningham, Fabian Cunningham. He wanted me to do some nagging to God on Judas's behalf. But I don't nag for just anybody, and I definitely don't nag for people I don't know. So I went to check on Judas for myself. He looked like a blessed retard. He wouldn't talk. He didn't seem to hear me. And I'm not someone who has a problem expressing myself. Hey, Judas. Judas. Yo, is that a hearing? Judas. I smacked him around a little. Hey, Helen Keller, wake up. Then I started taking him on. Hey, Judas, you got change for 30 pieces of silver? Hey, Judas, how much you paid for that haircut? 30 pieces of silver? Yo, Judas, come on, man, let's hang out. Wanna go to the Olive Garden restaurant? Or say, let's go down to the bar and betray someone. What's up? You're in no mood to betray anyone? Oh, come on, are you hungry? How about one last supper? What do you say? I couldn't break him. So I sat down next to him. I sat with Judas Iscariot for 3 days. On the third day, something happened while I was resting my vocal cords. I saw something unexpected. I saw a single tear fall out of Judas's eye. Just one. When the tear hit the ground, I saw it was red like a ruby. I looked into his eyes like this. He couldn't look at me, or he looked through me. I couldn't tell. His eyes were empty. He barely breathed. And I saw sadness in him, paralyzing, immobilizing, overwhelming sadness. His sadness ran through him like a river that had frozen up and died. And no one lived there anymore. After a while, I didn't know what else to do. So I thought I'd just hold him in my arms, warm him up before I left. I held him in my arms for 4 days. On the 3rd day, I remembered how Jesus had said that God has the greatest love for the least of his creatures. And Judas was the leastest creature I had ever seen. On the 4th day, Judas dropped another single tear. It was clear color this time. I had seen enough. I rushed back home and dialed God's number, and I nagged and nagged. Many people call me a nag. I call it doing my job. My name is Saint Monica. I'm the mother of Saint Augustine. And you know what? I get results.
Start proceedings. God and the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Great, magnificent, sir. The prosecution now calls Henrietta Iscariot, mother of Judas Iscariot, to the stand.
State your name, ma'am.
Henrietta Iscariot.
Good day, Miss Iscariot.
Good day.
Miss Iscariot, you were a single parent raising many children, Judas being the eldest and the man of the family. Well, you may remember that once you sent him out fishing to get food for you and his poor starving sisters. What happened next?
Do I have to answer?
Just tell the truth, ma'am.
Well, Judas didn't come home till very late. I waited by the fire. I was worried. I was concerned that maybe the Romans had detained him for shoplifting again.
A shoplifter! Maybe noted, my lord.
But then he came home.
Hi, Mommy.
Judas, I was so worried. Where were you?
Look what I got, Mommy. A spinning top.
Judas, did you catch any fish? Your sisters are weeping with hunger.
Weeping, your great sir. Weeping and wailing.
I caught 5 fish, Mommy.
But where are they?
I sold them in the market and bought this spinning top. Look how it spins, Mommy.
Judas Iscariot, I am ashamed of you.
But, Mommy,
Selfish boy, you will come to no good.
Selfish boy, you will come to no good. Was that your statement at that time?
He was only 8.
8! Ha. And too late. Nothing further, great sir.
Cross-examination.
Miss Iscariot, what happened the next day?
Well, he ran away from home that night. I searched for him all day. Late in the afternoon, I observed the following.
Hi. 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 My name's Judas. What's yours?
Matthias of Galilee.
I've got an idea. Why don't we play Battle of the Spinning Tops?
I don't have a spinning top. I wish I had one. All my friends have one, except me.
Then ask your mother for one.
I don't have a mother.
Then ask your father.
I have a father, but he's very stern. He is...
Don't cry, Matthias. Would you like to try mine?
Are you sure?
Here.
Wow. Your father must be a very nice man.
My father's dead.
What?
The Romans killed him.
Yeah, the Romans. They took away all our goats last month. And now we don't have money for anything, even food. And so my father makes me go to the butcher shop to ask for bones for my dog. But I don't have a dog. And the butcher knows I don't have a dog, but still he takes pity on me and he gives me the bones. And then I give them to my father, and he makes a soup of bones for us. And we eat it, and it tastes really bad. My grandmom says that my father's pride is wounded because he can't earn money. Thank you, Judas, for letting me play with your top.
The sad boys started to leave.
Hey,
Then-
Matthias.
What?
You can have it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow! Thank you, Judas.
When people ask me who my son was, I tell them that story.
Thank you, Miss Iscariot. The witness is excused.
Not so fast. Miss Iscariot, your son was picked up by the Roman authorities the very next day on the charge of stealing a blind man's staff, correct? Is that correct, Miss Iscariot?
I don't know. It was so long ago.
Yes, this is indeed true. Your Honor, we have reason to believe that the staff-deprived blind man in question was later run over by a diseased Judean camel. Here is the death certificate. No further questions.
Next witness.
Yes, great wise sir. The prosecution now calls the incomparable Mother Teresa to the stand. Name?
What?
State your name, ma'am.
What did you say?
Your name.
Oh, okay. It's 10:45 a.m. Okay.
Oh my. Mother Teresa. Hello. Over here. It is I, Mother. Remember me?
Oh, yes, handsome boy. Hello.
Yes. Hello. How are you?
Speak louder, boy.
I said, how are you?
Judge, bailiff, I think we do have a hearing device somewhere for Mother Teresa.
Then get the device. Put this on, ma'am.
What?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good man.
Yes. Hello, Mother. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
How about now?
yes. You are tricking me, no?
Yes, yes, I was tricking.
Bad boy.
Alphayomi, I think contact has been established. Let's get on with it now, shall we?
Very well. Mother Teresa, you are a saint and a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. You are from Albania, which tells me you know how to handle a firearm. But yet, for most of your life, you chose to work for those in the slums of Kolkata, the sick and destitute. And you worked with great love and mercy and generosity until the day you died. Correct?
Yes.
Mother, your life suggests to me that you know a thing or two about the life in the spirit, correct?
I know what I know. What do you want to know?
Mother, is there a hell?
I hope not, but I think so.
Judas Iscariot. He is in hell, isn't he?
Well, we cannot know for sure, but I think so.
Mother, shouldn't we feel sorry for someone in hell?
Very sorry. Yes.
Does God feel sorry for people in hell?
More sorry than us. Yes.
But if God feels so sorry, then why not bring the damn person upstairs? Surely God has that power.
My boy, God can lead us anywhere. But sometimes the people, they don't want to go. If the people don't want to go, then what can you do?
But surely these people do not prefer to go to hell.
You would be surprised. Do you know what despair is?
Mother, illuminate me.
I'll tell you what Thomas Merton had once to say on the subject of despair. You may not know this, but at one point in my life, even I had suffered a great spiritual darkness.
Oh no, not you.
Oh, yes, for many, many years, of God not wanting me, and of God not really existing. One day, I confided my feelings to a friend of mine, one of the sisters of Loreto of Dublin, Ireland. She quoted me Thomas Merton on the subject of despair. She said, despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accepting happiness and fulfillment from the hands of God. And Judas, he succumbed to despair. The music of God's love and grace kept playing in his ears. But he made himself hard of hearing. Like me, isn't it? I need this earphone device to hear you, isn't it? Judas threw away his earphones. And that is very sad. But this is what he chose. And this is what happened.
But mother, couldn't God have just obtained a megaphone and simply shouted instructions into Judas's ear?
My boy, in order to hear, one must be willing to listen. When you turn off from God, you are saying, I know better than you. No good, no good.
No good indeed. Mother, you are a delight to speak to, and I thank you for your expert testimony.
Cross.
Mother Teresa, upon receiving Nobel Prize, did you say to the world, quote, the biggest obstacle for global peace in the world today is abortion?
Yes, I said that.
You accepted large cash donations from the Duvalier family in Haiti, correct?
Yes,
Duvalier, being a dictator who murdered and stole his people,
he gave, I took.
you took blood money.
No, cashier's check. And it was for the poor. So I took. You got $5, I will take from you too.
Mother Teresa, you opposed Vatican II reforms, which among other things called for a long overdue official condemnation of anti-Semitism as it relates to the death of Christ. Did you oppose Vatican II, Mother Teresa?
Yes,
You blamed the wars of the world on abortion. You took blood money from the murderers, and you opposed to take a stance against anti-Semitism. I'm having trouble. Why? We are supposed to consider you an expert on anything having to do with the Spirit. Mother Teresa, my wife had 2 abortions. What do you say about that?
I will pray for you and your children.
But we don't have any children.
Not anymore. And that's terrible.
Mother Teresa, if abortion is so terrible, then how come we are not in hell?
I don't know. But did anybody tell you that you weren't?
Must be nice to have all the answers.
Must be hard to have only questions. I'm tired now. I need to go.
I'll help you, mother.
Maybe you could give this earphone device to this young man. Like that, he might be able to hear something. Maybe the music of God's love.
Hi, I am Peter. They got a basilica named after me in Rome. Actually, when I was on earth, I hated anything that had to do with Rome. My brother, Andrew, and many others would keep talking of this Messiah stuff and overthrowing Rome. And I would say to them, all this talk is of no use unless your Messiah is gonna come and help us catch some fish. Then one day, Andrew runs in saying, bro, I am not going to fish anymore. I have found Jesus, the Messiah. I am just gonna follow him. And this same Jesus has the audacity to ask me, "Did you catch any fish today?" And I said, "No." And he says, "Cast your nets wide and deep." So I did. And I took Jesus also out with me, intending to throw him overboard. You see, I was a professional and commercial fisherman. No one knew the tides better than me. There weren't any fish out there. But that's because they were all in my net. And then Jesus says, "Follow me. I will make you fishers of men." What I did not know then was that I would never see the sea again.
Well, my name's Matthew. I was a Jewish tax collector for the empire. My job was to take the food out of your mouth and see it shipped off to Rome. Roman tax was exorbitant and non-negotiable. If you had 6 geese, I took 3. If you had a flock of sheep, I took 50%. If you had only 1 sheep, I cut that sheep into half. This is not a made-up story. This is history. We were a conquered nation, and I was a traitor to my people, a Jew stealing from Jews. According to our laws, I was a traitor and a sinner. I was unclean, unfit to be gazed upon. That's who I was.
Yeah? While on earth I hated you.
And I looked on you, Peter, as a dumb, ignorant fisherman.
And I looked at you, Matthew, as something I can't say in mixed company.
Okay, I know. It was against the law to look me in the eye. But Jesus, he looked me in my eye. That's all he did. He looked me in my eye and he said, "Follow me." And before I knew it, I had. And before we broke bread that night, I was clean again. I was clean.
Defense calls Simon the Zealot to the stand.
Name? Simon, the Zealot.
You were one of the 12 apostles, Simon, correct?
Yes.
And you were a zealot.
Yeah?
Was Judas Iscariot a zealot?
Well, he didn't attend the meetings though. But yes, he was pretty much a zealot if you ask me.
And zealots are Jews seeking an end to the violent oppression of Roman occupation, correct?
Actually, not exactly. No.
Are you saying that the zealots were in favor of Roman occupation?
Not at all. We hated the Romans. We sure wanted them out. But what we zealots were really about was promoting a strict adherence to the Mosaic law, the Torah. But we sure hated the Roman rule and wanted to throw them out.
And you thought Jesus would do that, didn't you?
Yes?
But he didn't do that, did he?
No.
Yet he was capable of it, wasn't he? You saw Jesus perform miracles, raise people from the dead, drive people out of the
temple. It was all a bit confusing.
Confusing? What do you mean, confusing?
Well, at the cleansing of the temple, we were all excited. We thought It was the beginning of the revolution. But then suddenly, Jesus got us to retreat to the house. And he was like, I'm going to die soon. So let's just chill.
Must have been very disappointing.
It was very confusing. I mean, whacked out shit, man. 1 minute, Jesus is beating down infidel, knocking out teeth, screaming that he's going to tear down the temple. And the next minute, he's all passive. And we were like, we invested 3 years in this guy, and now he's just going to lay down. It didn't make sense.
Simon, why do you think Judas Iscariot handed Jesus over to the authorities?
Personally, I think that Judas wanted to throw Jesus into the deep end of the pool to make him swim.
So, Judas was testing Jesus.
Oh, not testing, because we all knew that Jesus had mad skills to pass the test.
What then?
See, Judas knew that if the Romans grabbed up Jesus, then Jesus would have to act.
Act? Meaning?
Meaning act. Get it on and start kicking ass like he was supposed to. Freedom was our birthright. That's what the Messiah was there for. Personally, I think that Judas was trying to help Jesus to realize his mission and fulfill his.
Judas was helping Jesus.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you.
So, Judas was a helper, huh? Yeah.
Just there to lend great G's, a helping hand, huh?
Yes.
Hey man, I think you're absolutely correct. Because for me, I know that if my best friend were to sell me out and betray me and cause me to be beaten, whipped, and then strung up naked and left to be baked by the hot Judean sun, oh yes, I'm sure my first thought would be, really, that Judas, what a helpful guy. Oh yes, I must remember to send him a thank you note. Simon the Zealot! Judas was your friend, wasn't he?
Yes.
You two thought the same way, didn't you?
Yes.
You shared the same opinions, had the same beliefs, wanted the same things, didn't you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Then why, Zealot, did you not do like Judas did? Why did you not join Judas or hand Jesus in on your own? Can you explain to me this?
I don't know.
You don't know? Zealot, Jesus never said that his mission as Messiah was to overthrow the Romans with violence. It was you who wanted it to be the mission. So how is it that you came to understand that violence wasn't part of Judas's mission? I mean, Jesus' mission? But Judas never did. Tell me how!
I don't know.
You don't know? I know how. The difference I posit is that you in your heart accepted the essence of what Jesus was made of. You accepted that you were created in God's own image. Whereas Judas Iscariot, he sought to create God into his own image. Well, thank you, Simon. Nothing further.
Next witness.
Most Reverend Senor, with your magisterial permission, the prosecution now calls Satan, Prince of Darkness, to the stand.
Satan, I have good news for you.
And what's that, Sheila?
Tonight, you're gonna to rock with Sunny Leon.
Oh, wow, wow! Sunny Leon, Sunny Leon.
El Payomi, proceed.
Well, yes. How are you today, Satan?
There's been a long night, but no regrets.
Of late, parting with the decadent and debauched.
Does it show? Oh God!
Oh, no, not at all. Relax. Well, your jacket, Satan, really, it is smart.
You like it?
Beautiful. Really. Armani?
Gucci.
Gucci. Yes. Elegant. Very. So, Dark One, tell me, did you ever have any conversations with Judas Iscariot prior to his selling out of Jesus Christ?
No, I did not.
And you never entered into him, as I believe Saint Luke's Gospel puts it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, very much. If you don't believe me, ask my main squeeze, Sheila. If I had entered Judas Iscariot, trust me, he would have felt my considerable presence, if you know what I mean.
Okay. So, you did nothing to sway Judas Iscariot towards selling out Jesus, correct? Well then, how about after he did the deadly deed? Did you speak with the betrayer after he betrayed Jesus?
I spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him.
Would you like to share?
Yes, not a problem. When I appeared to Judas Iscariot at Bathsheba's bar, shortly after the night in question, when I encountered Judas Iscariot, he appeared to have taken full advantage of the happy hour. Hey friend, how are you this evening? How are you?
Get out of my way, you asshole!
Hey, my friend.
Get lost, I said! You son of a bitch! Mind your own freaking business!
Okay. Thanks for the advice.
Hey man! Hey! Where you going?
I thought you preferred to be alone.
Why would I prefer that? Do I look like some kind of lone wolf or something? What do you need? Beer, whiskey, rum, wine, a cigarette? You want a fag or something?
Nothing.
Whoa, man! That's a nice shirt you got there. What do you pay for it, huh?
2 pieces of silver.
2 pieces of silver. I'll freaking give you 5. My purse. Is my purse? It's okay, I'll pay you later. But tell me, man, tell me this one thing. If I told you something corny, would you think that I was like a dick or something?
Why?
You know, there's this minor incident that happened last night. A miscalculation on my part. Nothing serious.
You fear hell. If you're looking out for a good time and want to rock, then hell's just the venue. As an eternal destination, hell is vastly underrated.
No! Listen, buddy. What I mean is that, what if someone were to, betray? You know what I mean, betray. What if someone were to betray, for example, the Messiah?
You mean the Messiah?
Yeah, say some idiot had a choice to betray the Messiah and not to betray him, and he chose to betray him.
Gee, I couldn't say. What do you think?
I'd say that guy's screwed, right?
I couldn't say.
Come on, bro, tell me, what do you think? I need to know, I'm desperate.
If this man or this clown was supposed to betray the Messiah, then probably it would have been better for this man if he had never been born.
Never been born?
Hey, you asked.
That's heavy, man. Heavy. I need another bloody drink. Tonight I'm going to drink the whole blessed bar.
Hey, man. Let me ask you something. First a drink. Who is this guy, Jesus of Nazareth, who I've been hearing about?
Jesus of Nazareth?
He's kind of somebody.
Somebody? He's a bitch! I pray that he rots that bitch!
Your Honor, please note, he is a bitch. Pray that he rots. Nothing further.
Meal break, 15 minutes.
I found a love for me, so I'm gonna dive right in and follow your lead. I found a love beautiful and sweet. I never knew all of this time it was waiting for me. 'Cause I was so lost when I found your love, not knowing what it was, broken until I saw your light. In a moment you made me whole, took me and led me home. Now I am yours and you are mine. Oh, I was dancing in the dark when I saw your open arms, barefoot on the cross, and now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful. I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight. Well, I found a Savior, stronger than darkness. He takes my fears and I never fear I'm alone. I found a Savior to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love and every burden in my soul. And I was so lost when I found your love, standing against all odds. And I know I'll make it through some once lost is redeemed. A heart once in chains, now free. And I'm not afraid to testify. Jesus, I was dancing in the dark when I saw your open arms, barefoot on the cross. And now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful, and I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight.
So we're all set to watch Act 2 of the play, The Last Days of Judas Iscariot.
Next witness.
Your Honor, defense calls respected Sigmund Freud to the stand.
Name? Sigismund Shlomo Freud.
Dr. Freud, would it be accurate to say that you qualify as an expert in the field of modern psychiatry?
Sir, I am modern psychiatry.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is boasting.
Overruled.
Your Grace, but I must state that the prosecution has great reservations about this man's alleged so-called standing as an expert psychiatrist.
Perhaps a quick look at the standard editions of the complete works of Sigmund Freud, volumes 1 to 24, would set your mind at ease.
Perhaps.
Dr. Freud, you're the founder of psychoanalysis, isn't it?
I am.
You have practiced neuropathology for nearly half a century, and you were on the cover of Time magazine in an issue dedicated to the greatest scientific minds of 20th century.
That's right.
Okay. Are you familiar with the case history of certain Judas Iscariot?
Most certainly.
Dr. Freud, in your expert opinion, can a suicide victim be pre-certified as psychotic?
Without question. Man's instinct for self-preservation is his most reflexive and supple muscle. When that muscle fails, it is because his mind has failed. A decision to take one's own life can only be precipitated by a failure of the mind, an irrational rebellion against man's basic instinct, which is to endure and to live. Therefore, yes, the victim of suicide must be pre-certified as indeed psychotic.
So, you are saying that Judas Iscariot was a psychotic?
Without question.
And are psychotic responsible for their actions?
No, they are not. For example, say I have a bad cold, and because of that, I sneeze rudely, but involuntarily in your face. The next day, you get up with the same flu. Did I cause your flu? Of course not. My flu caused your flu. I only sneezed because I was sick.
Dr. Freud, in your opinion, does Judas Iscariot belong in hell?
No, he does not.
Can you explain?
Suicide is a direct sign of mental illness.
But did he become mentally ill after allegedly betraying Jesus of Nazareth? Or was he mentally ill to begin with?
Pre-programmed. Yes, you must understand. Normal people do not kill themselves, even under extreme duress.
But what would you say to people who would say that Judas brought about his own mental illness by betraying Jesus and getting Jesus crucified?
I would say this. Number one, you cannot bring about mental illness. Number two, any God who punishes the mentally ill is not worth worshipping. And number three, the only person who could have prevented this tragedy was Jesus, not Judas. He chose not to.
But isn't Judas responsible because he did what he did out of his own free will?
Sir, I once had a suicidal victim leap through my fourth floor window to her death. She exercised her free will. Did I bill her estate for the broken glass window she leapt through? Of course not. The price of greatness is responsibility. I believe firmly in taking responsibility. So after the unfortunate woman's death, I exercised responsibility for my greatness by moving my office to the ground floor. I should think God would have done the same.
Your witness.
Dr. Freud, we are told that over a 12-year span, you consumed cocaine in massive quantities. Is that correct?
That was part of my research, yes.
Research? I see. And after 12 years of round-the-clock research, you finally came to the conclusion that investing staggering amounts of cocaine up your nose was perhaps unhealthy?
I was trying to determine its medical value. You have a difficulty with that?
Not too much, Dr. Freud.
Freud!
I'm sorry. Freud. Freudian slip, wasn't it? It's amazing that you were able to analyze psychotic behavior with your nose stuffed up on high for years. That'll be all, doctor.
Hi again. Let me introduce you to Mary Magdalene. She's the only female I'd allow to hang around with me up here. Tell him what you got to say.
My name is Mary of Magdala. I was a disciple of Jesus, as you well know. I was present with him at his crucifixion, and I was the first person he appeared to after his resurrection.
You seem to have influence.
I was known for my ability, in times of difficulty, to be able to turn the hearts of the apostles towards the good.
The good?
Yes, I know. Some people said that I was a whore. Some others even thought that Jesus was my husband. But this was not true, just not true.
Never mind those misogynist bitches.
But I'm pretty sure that Jesus and I were close friends. We could look into each other's hearts, and we were in love with what we found there. I also knew Judas Iscariot quite well.
That gangster?
You know, out of the 12, he was the most moody and the most impetuous. And yet, he was my favorite.
You're kidding.
In some ways, I think he was Jesus' favorite too. Judas was almost an alter ego to Jesus. He was the shadow to Jesus' light, the sour to the sweet, the cool to the warm. They would often walk together, more often than not, arguing. I can remember times when Jesus would emerge from an argument with Judas, positively furious, shaking his head wildly, and he would tell me what they had been fighting about. But inevitably, he would often end up staring into space, smiling. I think having Judas around was good for Jesus. But when I think of Judas now, my heart breaks.
But Mary Max, tell me, do you honestly believe that God could totally abandon such a jerk?
I don't know. Jesus never talks about it. But that's how I know that his heart hurts much more than mine.
Your Majesty, the prosecution now calls the well-known singer Justin Bieber to the stand.
Justin Bieber's not dead, idiot!
Oh, sorry. And yes, thank God for that. Well, in that case, the prosecution now calls Caiaphas the elder, high priest of the Sanhedrin, to the stand.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time I must excuse myself from those proceedings until the said witness has concluded his testimony. Before his ascension into the lap of the Lord, Caiaphas the elder and I were partners in a successful chain of kosher burger and fries in the East Purgatory. So for that reason, at this time, I must step down. Bailiff, get your ass over here, put on these glasses, and adjudicate. Pronto? Proceed.
Proceed. Francis Z. Bailiff, correct? Shall we commence? Caiaphas, high priest of the Sanhedrin.
Yes.
In the four Gospels, we are told that Judas Iscariot made an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach, to offer up the location of Jesus of Nazareth and hand him over to you and the authorities, correct?
Correct.
Or was it the other way around? Did you instead approach Judas Iscariot towards selling Jesus?
I did not.
Why not? Jesus was a big headache for you, wasn't he? You were legitimately concerned that Jesus' preaching could start an uprising with the result that the Romans might want to crush your Jewish people. Correct?
I was concerned.
Then why did you not do anything about it?
There is an old rabbinical saying, let them kill you, but do not cross the line. I have dealt with countless messiahs, zealots, and rebels. My experience in these matters taught me. They get killed, yes, but as a rule, they do not cross the line.
Cross the line? This means what?
To betray your ideals, your conscience, the law.
Judas Iscariot. He crossed the line, didn't he?
He did.
He betrayed the ideal in betraying Jesus, the rabbinical ideal. He crossed the line.
Yes.
Hey, but what's the big deal in crossing the line? We all do it sometimes, don't we? If you cross a line, then just draw another line, correct?
No, not correct. The line comes from God. The line is given. We do not create it, and thus it is not ours to modify. It is only ours to obey or to betray it.
Very well, Caiaphas the elder. It has been said that in Western culture, the most prized virtue is honesty. But in Eastern culture, which includes Judea at that time, in Eastern culture, the most prized virtue is loyalty. Do you agree with this?
Counselor, there are 613 sacred laws in our Torah. Complying with these laws requires both honesty and loyalty. However, the most important requirement of all is obedience to it. That is what is most prized.
Fair enough. But in your opinion, was Judas Iscariot loyal?
Obviously not.
Was he honest?
No.
Was Judas Iscariot obedient?
He was obedient to his own will and desires.
And to service that will and desires, Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I found him disgusting.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. Oi, your witness?
Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot crossed the line and that he disgusted you, correct?
Yes.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Correct.
And then you handed Jesus of Nazareth over to Pontius Pilate, correct?
I did.
Then what's the difference between you and Judas Iscariot?
Big difference.
Oh. Caiaphas, you are a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. Is it not crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by the pagans?
Jesus was a blaspheming, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure that he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition was crucifixion, correct?
That was the Roman charge, not mine.
Yes, your charge was blasphemy. And what is the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Stoning, followed by hanging.
Then, how can you sit there and pretend that you did not know for sure that Jesus of Nazareth would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself.
Saved himself? How?
By retracting his blasphemous claims. Jesus broke so many of our 613 laws. Who was he to violate Moses' law and call himself Messiah and forgive sin? Only God can do that. This Jesus was a threat to us all.
And yet, in the great face of threat, Judas Iscariot, who came forward, in your eyes, not a patriot, but a traitor. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over?
I was responsible for my Jewish people, and I had to answer God.
Oh, is that so? Or was it because you had to answer Rome? You were appointed by Rome. And at the end of the day, that's who you had to answer to.
I belong to God, not Rome.
Can you tell us, Caiaphas, in the end of the day, there was a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and Judas did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas! Who is the one who crossed the line?
You guys only want to win your case, right? You called me. I came. You questioned. I answered. And believe me, you will never realize the position I was in, nor try to excuse or forgive me, because I'm not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness. This interests me. Yours? I could care less. I know what it is to suffer, and so do all of my people.
Okay, that'll be all.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I worked many years in Malabar and I died there. When Jesus rose from the dead, I was the guy who refused to believe in him till I could see him, touch him, and inspect him with my own hands as if I was some qualified medical examiner. But he did give me proof. I had no faith, but Jesus gave it to me, and for free. I don't know why I got the benefit of my doubt, and Judas didn't get help with his. Well, Judas was the kind of guy where 1 minute he is your friend, and the next minute he is making fun of you in front of everybody. For instance, he used to say that the reason Jesus had to do the miracle of the loaves and the fishes were because I ate all of the food when no one was looking. Stuff like that. But then, at other times, Judas could be really nice. Like, once we went together into a town to heal people and cast out demons. Well, I had some problems that day. Everyone I tried to heal ended up getting worse. In fact, this one lady, I almost blinded her. And another guy started going into convulsions. I really messed up that day. But then Judas fixed it. He healed them. He really did. And that showed his faith was genuine. And when we got back to camp that night, he did not tell anybody how I messed up. In fact, he told I did a good job. And I appreciated that. I thought that showed largeness on Judas's part. And for this, Jesus liked him. In fact, a lot. And some people say that Judas was greedy. I think that's bullshit. Because he didn't simply go around with us ragamuffins for 3 years if he were only looking to get rich. And some other people say that the devil got into him. Again, bullshit. Judas was loyal to the hilt. He was a bit of a nut, no doubt. But Judas deserved much better. Anyway, this is just one saint's opinion.
Defense calls Pontius Pilate to the stand.
Pilate, Pontius Pilate.
Hey, but are you a licensed pilot?
Sit down, El Bayomi.
Tell me, sir, Judas Iscariot came to your tent to recant his testimony, correct?
I got a meeting to attend at 10. We better be quick.
Judas Iscariot came to your office to return the money and release Jesus. He first tried to return the money to Sanhedrin and then to you. Do you deny that?
He thought we Romans would dance to his tunes.
Please answer the question, sir. We all know what happened that day.
Come, you bastard!
Hey, son of bitch!
Kill him!
Pilate gonna kick your ass! Pilate gonna kick your cattle's ass too! I know sheep, I know lambs, I know wife!
What's all this damn ruckus about?
All hail Pontius Pilate!
Hail! Hail! Hail!
Is there a problem here?
Judas is trying to recant.
Who?
Judas Iscariot from the Jesus of Nazareth gang. He says he made a mistake.
Jesus is an innocent man. You don't understand, please. He's
Hey,
an
hold
innocent man.
it. Hey, Judas, they paid you 30 pieces of silver. Now that's 4 months' wages. It ain't chicken feed, man.
I made a mistake. You don't understand, please. You don't understand.
A mistake and I don't understand. I understand perfectly. You sold out your brother and now you feel guilty. And so now you're trying to say, oh, it was dark. I kissed the wrong guy.
No.
But we are Romans, man. We are Romans. We don't dance that song. Get lost.
Please, I'm recanting, please.
Listen, it ain't like we're going to crucify him. We'll just kick him up and set him free. Take him away.
No, please, sorry. Please.
Do you admit that Judas did try?
Yes.
Which means you bear the responsibility for the death of Christ. You and you alone, not Judas Iscariot. Isn't that right?
Listen, have you ever been to Judea? It ain't Paris or London. Believe me, this Moses must have read the map backwards, misplaced his bifocals or something. But if that was the promised land, shit, man, the Jews should have held out to a better promise.
What do you mean?
This Judea had no atmosphere. Hot, dirty, dusty, flies everywhere, a complete lack of amusements and culture. And I had to keep the damn peace there.
How? Using violence?
Using any means necessary.
Tell me, Mr. Pilate, is it true that you presided over more than 700 crucifixions during your assignment in Judea?
More or less.
And you publicly washed your hands off how many of them?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean, other than Jesus of Nazareth, out of more or less 700 crucifixions and countless executions, did you ever, in any other instance, publicly wash your hands and abdicate responsibility for your actions?
I don't recall.
You backpedaled because you knew that Jesus was either a holy man or a fool. You believed in him when he said that the kingdom wasn't of this earth, didn't you?
I don't recall that conversation either.
You don't recall that conversation, Mr. Pilate. Why don't you say that again so that I can charge a perjury charge on you? You ordered the death of Christ, you alone, and then you pawned it on the reticence of Jesus, impetuousness of Judas, politics of Sanhedrin, and the rowdiness of Jewish people. Is it not the case, Mr. Pilate?
You can go on squawking if you want to. My conscience is clean.
Mr. Pilate, were the high priests of Sanhedrin authorized to give a death sentence?
No, they were not.
Was King Herod authorized to give a death sentence?
No, he was not.
What about Jewish people? Was they authorized to give a death sentence?
No.
One man, Mr. Pilate, one man in all of Judea who had the authority to put another man to death. Who is that man, Mr. Pilate?
Am I the one on trial here?
My client, Mr. Pilate, my client, Judas Iscariot, came to your tent with the remorseful heart. But you ignored him.
Then maybe you need to take this up with the Jews themselves, not me. The Jews, they worshipped an angry, jealous, and vengeful God. And guess what? They were angry, jealous, and vengeful themselves. And I'll tell you one thing. Unlike Judas, that Nazarene boy had character. He did not come to me begging or groveling, crying like a bitch. He faced me like a man, like a Roman almost. And that's what impressed me. I was willing to have him best up and set free. But those Jews, they weren't willing any of that. You can say what you want to and think what you want to. But the Jews were trying to fix a pitch until that Nazarene boy was served up for dinner like chicken in a skillet. And they had the numbers on us that weekend. 200,000 strong converging on the city. I did what I did to preserve the damn peace. I did my damn job. Any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. Pilate. I think you have told us all we need to know. Thank you.
The witness is excused.
Hail Caesar, smartass.
Your Excellency, just one question if I may.
What's that?
I wonder if you would tell the court, and this is very important. Did you get the impression that Judas was recanting out of a genuine remorse and concern for Jesus? Or do you think he was just shit scared and just seeking to undo the damage he caused?
Remorse. I happen to know something about remorse. Back in my days, I have stared into the eyes of perhaps 10,000 accused men and sat in judgment over them. I spared a few and executed a plenty. I sent them to face the whip, the cell, the gallows, and the crucifixion. Remorse is rare, but when you see it, it's unmistakable. Judas Iscariot had no remorse. His fear left no room for it. His fear was 100% ego-driven, 0% remorse. If you believe nothing else, believe that.
Well, thank you. Thank you indeed.
Your Honor, defense reconjures Satan to the stand.
Bailiff, go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Satan? Alone?
Go!
I need to file a formal bloody complaint. Where can I file my freaking complaint? You hear me?
Silence.
Silence! Screw you and your coat of clowns. That God of yours, bloody bitch, is at it again. He has been stealing souls once again. Look at it. Ivan, Vincy, Merlin, Charlene, all of them, you fool! That God!
You sure?
Asking me, you heard me, asshole! I ain't going to put up any more with this God poaching! My soul's in hell was safe and secure. He has been taking them upstairs, and I need recompense, and I'm in a hellish mood.
Now, listen. Listen. Your complaint is duly noted and will be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony. You're okay with that?
Okay. Let me see.
Mr. Satan,
Oh, God.
you had a long-standing war with God, correct?
Yes. And I just love God.
You love God?
Yes, God made me.
God made you.
It says so in the Bible.
Yes, of course. But it also says in the Gospel of Matthew that a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So, are you saying that you are good, or are you saying that God is bad?
I would never say that God is bad.
You're lying again. You just proved to us that you cannot stand competing with God and that you are a constant loser.
I don't compete with anyone. God competes with himself.
Nonsense!
Nonsense. Nonsense. Let me tell you. I did not make you people. God did. There was a design flaw in creation. God gave you all free will. And with that, and to balance that, He gave you all self-correct. Unlike this free will muscle, the self-correct muscle is not a particular favorite of the Homo sapiens. I don't have to do much. I don't work too hard to deceive, to flatter, or even to tempt. With God at the helm, I spend most of my time on this phone using Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. I am in no competition with anyone, and I just love God.
Liar! Tell me, does God love Judas Iscariot?
God loves everybody. God loves everybody.
That's not true. If God loves, then His love might be conditional. If that's the case, because of that, my client is allowed to languish in damnation. Isn't that right?
Your client? Your client is free to leave whenever he wants to. In fact, I wish he could. I could have used that extra bed or that extra room.
No, that's not true. You know that. The real truth is, God's love for us is conditional. You failed to meet God's conditions, and He threw you in a trash. My client, Judas Iscariot, failed, and he is in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair. How sad!
Yes, if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, then what does it say about God? It says one of the two things, Mr. Satan, that either God is not all powerful, therefore useless, or God's love for us is conditional, which renders that love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
It excites me to see you all excited.
Shut up and tell the truth.
The truth is, God loves me, and I love God.
Shut up, you liars!
Okay, that's enough, I say. Okay.
God's love.
That's a lie!
So
You liars!
God's love. It's so
Next witness.
wonderful. God's love.
Next witness.
Oh, wonderful love.
Next witness.
Come on. I love God. Ha ha.
People ask of me, where are you? Where are you? Verily, I ask of you to ask yourself, where are you? I am currently among the war-ravaged homes in Syria. I am in the Guantanamo Bay detention camp. I am taking a walk with a refugee in Sri Lanka. And what I need you to believe is that if you hate who I love, then you do not know me at all. And what I want you to trust is the efficacy of divine love, if practiced consciously, and make no mistake, who I love is every last one. I am every last one. People ask of me, where are you? I ask you to ask yourself, where are you? Judas, where are you? Judas.
Who's that?
Is it ever anybody else, Judas? I miss you.
Huh?
I miss you, Judas.
Don't freaking touch me!
Judas.
I said take your freaking hands off me! Take them off!
I'm sorry.
Just back off, man. Back off.
I'm sorry. Judas, if 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if a brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard look, then Judas, I will not sleep that night, nor sleep at all, till he will let me love him again.
I want no more of your fortune cookies. You want to say something? I can't stop you. You want to apologize? Okay, fine. Apologize and go. But for once, speak like a normal bloody person.
I am not a normal person, Judas, and I am not here to apologize. I am who I am. I'm always going to be who I am.
Just go away. Just go away! Please go away! Go away! Just go away! Go away!
How long since you How long since you stayed on your knees till the light shone through? How long has it been since your mind felt at ease? How long since your heart knew no burden? Can you call him your friend? How long has it been since you knew that he cared for you? How long has it been since you knelt by your bed and prayed to the Lord up in heaven? How long since you knew?
I won't go away. I have never gone away. Judas, look at me. I love you, Judas. I want to share with you, Judas, and all I want is to be just near you.
You want to be with me? I watch you strut around, healing the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. And when some lowly, distant relative of yours, too cheap to buy enough wine for his own freaking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze, no problem. You just presto, changeo, and it's flowing wine and merriment once again. But when I needed you the most, when I needed you the most, where the heck were you? Huh? Where the heck were you?
Judas.
You forget Peter and that bullshit of a guy Thomas. You knocked Paul of Tarsus off the horse. You raised Lazarus from the freaking dead. But me, your heart, what about me, Jesus? What about me? What about me, huh? You just, I made a mistake. a mistake. And if that was wrong, then you should have told me. And if a broken heart was a sufficient reason to hang, then you should have told me that too.
Don't you think, Judas, that if I knew that it would have changed your mind, that I would have?
All I know is that you broke me, unfixable, and that I'm here.
Judas, what if I were to tell you that you are not here, that you are there with me in my kingdom even now, and that you have been there since the morning of my ascension, and that you have never left?
That is what I think about you. That is what I think about you.
I love you, Judas. I love you.
Just stop! Just stop!
Don't you see me here, Judas?
I see a lot of things.
How about him? Do you see him? Do you know him? Call unto him. He is not there because he does not exist. He is false. He is a lie. He's not real. Touch him. Go ahead.
I don't want to touch anybody. I don't want to touch him. Just go away. Go away.
Will you feed my lambs, Judas? Will you take care of my little sheep?
Feed your lambs?
You know exactly what I'm asking you.
Just go away, please. Just go away. You left me. You left me.
I never left you, Judas. I never did.
I could have never believed that you could have never left me.
I never did.
That you didn't love me.
I do love you, Judas.
Why? Why couldn't you make me good enough so that you could have loved me?
Please, Judas, please take my hands. Please.
Jesus, where are they?
Right here.
I can't see them.
They're right here.
Jesus, don't leave me.
I'm not.
Jesus.
I never did.
God, Jesus, please.
I love you, Judas.
Jesus.
I love you.
Oh, Mr. Iscariot. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to introduce myself. I am Butch. I was the foreman in the jury at your trial there. And well, we found you guilty, Mr. Iscariot, and I'm sorry about that. But I brought you some beer if you wish. You know what? During your trial, I was reminded of me and my wife. I was the guy who always kept screwing up all the time. I slept around. I got into relationships the way people change clothes. I cheated on my wife. It was beer and women. Beer kept me in good company. But my wife, she was a jewel. Knowing me, the weak me that I was, she would look me in the eye with acceptance, with an open embrace, and that was enough. What I had done to her could never be reversed. I mean, you cashed in silver, Mr. Iscariot. I threw away gold. I threw away gold. And that's a fact.
I found a love for me. So I'm gonna dive right in and follow your lead. I found a love beautiful and sweet. I never knew all of this time it was waiting for me. 'Cause I was so lost when I found your love, not knowing what it was, broken until I saw your light. In a moment you made me whole, took me and led me home. Now I am yours and you are mine. Oh, I was dancing in the dark when I saw your open arms, barefoot on the cross. And now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful. I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight. Well, I found a Savior, stronger than darkness. He takes my fears and I never fear I'm alone. I found a Savior to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love and every burden in my soul. And I was so lost when I found your love, standing against all odds. And I know I'll make it through somehow. 'Cause what was once lost is redeemed. A heart once in chains, now free. And I'm not afraid to testify. Jesus, I was dancing in the dark when I saw your open arms, barefoot on the cross. And now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful, and I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight.
Okay, let's give our actors once again a loud round. Can we have the curtains open? Hello. Okay, draw the curtain. Curtain, please. They're arranging themselves. now since they've taken a lot of trouble to put up this play, as we can see. Let me call up all those who've been part of this team. Father Aubrey, who is with us in the Juniorate, and Elmer, Brother Pradeep, Sean. Can all come up, please? And most of all, I want you to put your hands together for the director of this play, Conan Pereira. Let's hear it for Conan. I know you want to go. I'm not going to make this long, but I want to say a quick word of thanks to all of you, firstly, for being present here. Many of you are from the places where our brothers go to for their weekend ministry. And your presence in our lives makes their formation and training so much more meaningful and enriching. So thanks to all of you, our friends, for being present here. Thank you for all the Jesuits who have come. When we told some of the Jesuits the play is about Judas, they said, we'll come. Because anything that has to do with some creepy characters, Jesuits like. Once again, I want to thank Father Morris, Father Vinci Vaz, Teacher Susan Babu, all from Holy Family School here, for the use of this premises, for being very generous with so many things. I'm not elaborating. Father Luke and Father Francis for your constant support at Vinayalaya. Greg for the lovely sound. For the many who have helped us with costumes. They ran helter-skelter looking for costumes. Thanks for that. To Raju Annappa for the snacks. All the pre-novices who have helped us. Francis, the XIC, Gopi and your team with the video shoot, Lalit and the support staff here in Holy Family, Sanjay, our decorator. And thanks to all of you for coming here and making this. I hope you enjoyed your evening, and we hope to see you next year. So good night and God bless.
Barefoot on the cross, and now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful. I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight. Well, I found a Savior, stronger than darkness. He takes my fears and I never fear I'm alone. I found a Savior to carry more than just my secrets, to carry love and every burden in my soul. And I was so lost when I found your love, standing against all odds. And I know I'll make it through somehow. 'Cause what was once lost is redeemed. A heart once in chains, now free. And I'm not afraid to testify. Jesus, I was dancing in the dark when I saw your open arms, barefoot on the cross, and now I hear you in every song. When my life was still a mess, you saw something beautiful, and I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect tonight. When I'm dancing in the dark, I will raise my weary arms and thank you for the cross and the grace that's enough for anyone. When you found me in a mess, you saw something beautiful, and I don't deserve it, but your grace is perfect. I don't feel worthy, time.